is it takes a long time to understand, like to feel your frequency, increase your frequency, hold your frequency, and make it a part of you. So my thing is, people call it enlightenment. You can call it whatever you want, but it's frequency increase. That's where my entire focus is. Money reflects it, relationships reflect it, circumstances reflect it. You can create anything you want if you understand frequency management.
What do you?
So
and I 100%.
Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that for 1 second. I will not drink. I'm not saying everyone should be like this, but what I understand with drinking is, you drink. I don't care if it's 1 drink or 7 drinks. For me, it changes my frequency. It might make it better for a minute, but you go backwards after that. I'm not prepared for the 24 hours of backwards, 48 hours backwards. Drugs, no-go zone. 2 weeks of backwards. You can feel it. So I don't swear because I think swearing is a low vibrational frequency. That's what I think. I'm not saying you, Daine, or anybody else. Yeah. I don't need to say F this, that. I'll think of another word. Have you read the book Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins?
No, I haven't.
No? He goes, you can come in, George. He goes, it talks about muscle resistance and enlightenment. And he actually measures words, he measures things, he measures drugs, he measures everything, and talks about truth starts at, there's a scale of 0 to 900, 1,000 say, right?
Yep.
Buddha, Jesus Christ, Muhammad, they're all at 1,000.
Yep.
Truth starts at 200.
Yep.
Porn is, say, 86.
Yep.
And he has, it's a very interesting book. And he basically...
No, I can hear what it's saying, and even actually what you said about the swearing. I never thought about it in that context, right?
Yeah.
In the way that you put it. But I think even the very fact that you have that thought process around it and you approach it like that, that through itself for you is raising the energy and raising your intent and what you're actually putting out there and manifesting in itself because you believe it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I do. I believe it. That's true. And he talks about drugs, and he says when you take cocaine, you go to 600. 600. That's bliss. That's where bliss starts.
Yep.
And he's got this whole scale, bliss, but the down would be like 30.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everything I do now is around. Even when I deal with someone, I'll rather say to someone, whatever is in here, I'll say to them. Like I was just in a meeting before I came here. The lady got so offside with me because I didn't agree with her. I think she was actually giving the guy the wrong advice. There was a developer, and I said to her, put aside what you think. What do you think is the best for the development? Not just because you've got this easy sale over here. She was getting so worked up. And I said, look, you might think I'm not great of me right now, but I've got to say what's in here. Because I think what's in here always leads you right, every time.
Oh, definitely.
You know, someone says, do I look good? I'll say, no, you don't. Yeah, I'll say, no, you don't. Like, someone says, do I look good? I'm like, no, you don't. I don't like that dress because it does this. And people say, oh, you can't say that. I say, well, they asked me, and I'm only saying what I think, but I think a better option would be this.
Well, what you're doing there
people think I'm really blunt.
No, what you're doing there, and I agree with it too, is you're not enabling. You know, and I think people enable a lot more than they need to. So, like on that, and that, I mean, I guess even what you just said then, because I was going to tie in and say, you know, what you're talking about in regards to frequency and raising your vibration, it's all well and good. But for someone that, for example, right now has not trained up their mind to create the habits and behaviors to do what you're doing just yet, what are some tools that you might give out to those listeners out there that are maybe struggling with sticking with anything, struggling with basically changing their mindset when they wake up in the morning as to, you know, right now at this time of the year, one of the things that I really dislike hearing is, oh, I can't wait for next year. I can't wait for next year.
What about today? You just wake up a little bit.
It's all right. Yeah, one of the things I really dislike seeing is I can't wait for next year. It's like, why? What's wrong with right now?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know. So, what would be some of the habits or tools?
You know, I was talking to my son this morning, my oldest son, and he's like, Dad, so he went out and took drugs on the weekend and he feels terrible.
Yeah.
But he's got to a point now where his body's great, he looks great, he feels great, he's got a new car, he's got a good job, he's a million miles ahead of where he was before. So he tried to commit suicide 2 years ago.
Wow.
And we've got a great relationship now. He was in hospital, wrist slit, blah, blah, blah. The two oldest kids have a lot of damage from things that were managed a long time ago. Yeah. And he's like, the other day, he's like, Dad, my life is so good, blah, blah, blah. But he went out and took drugs on the weekend. And I said to Jacko, he goes, Dad, he said that, next year I'm going to do this. And I said, well, why next year? Like, what is the thing with next year? He goes, I really want to get my car paid off and this, and I want to go here. I said, what about this, Jacko? Next year, why don't we just you've got a brand new Nissan, one of those 20-year-old boy cars, what are they, the ute things, the double cab ute things. I said, just next year, why don't we set a target of just paying your car off? That's it. You know, like one goal. And he said, oh yeah, and we're talking about it. I said, don't worry about the rest. You got a good job, he's training every day, so he's got that part right. I said, just keep it really simple. And he's like, oh, yeah, I think it is. He goes, Dad, you really keep things simple, don't you? I said, it's the only way to be. Because as soon as you have a bit more, you focus on nothing.
KISS principle.
So for me...
it's KISS principle. So I say it in business too. People overcomplicate things.
They do. For myself, I know what I've got to do today. I've got to make a certain amount of prospecting calls. I've got to do a few appointments. I know that KPIs I need to get out of today. I've got to go to the gym once, 31 minutes is the thing that I do. I just allocate some time. Got to see my kids, and I've got to eat well. That's it. Nothing else. If I do that,
sounds very much like my day.
Yeah.